Emma needs this opportunity more than you do. My father's words hit like a punch to the chest. I stood frozen in his office, still holding the quarterly profit reports I'd been so eager to share. She's still finding her path, and the restaurant is perfect for her, he added. I'm Sophia Chen, 32 years old. 6 months ago, I sold my dream condo to save Golden Dynasty, our struggling family restaurant. The place had been bleeding money for years, stuck in the past with stale decor, outdated dishes, and zero online presence. My sister Emma hadn't shown the slightest interest in the business. Until now. Dad, I said quietly, my voice trembling. I sold my home for this. He didn't even look up from his phone. We appreciate that. But Emma needs this more. You have your accounting career. She doesn't. What she did have was a long list of failed ventures and my parents' endless support. I'd left my senior accountant position, liquidated my savings, and poured my soul into resurrecting Golden Dynasty, while Emma spent the last 6 months finding herself in Bali. The restaurant had been my grandfather's pride and joy. I grew up in that kitchen, watching him cook and learning the secret recipes that once made Golden Dynasty a local legend. After he passed, my parents let the place decline, refusing to change with the times. Then, 6 months ago, I got the call. Sophia, we're going to lose everything, Dad sobbed. Without hesitation, I stepped in. I paid off their debts, modernized the menu with Asian fusion dishes while preserving our classics, revamped the space to reflect both our heritage and current trends, and launched a social media campaign that brought in food bloggers and influencers. And it worked. Revenue tripled. Weekends were booked solid. Takeout orders surged. Even our longtime regulars adored the updates, especially the vintage photos of Grandpa I hung in the dining room. But none of that mattered now. Emma's already making plans, Dad continued, finally looking at me. She wants to change the menu. Maybe add those healthy bowls she discovered in Bali. Clenched my jaw. The menu was drawing record profits, the same one Grandpa built. Well, times change, Dad shrugged. Emma understands trends. She's young. I had to steady myself. I'd spent months balancing tradition with innovation. Without a word, I placed the profit reports on his desk. What about my investment? He asked. We'll pay you back eventually, he said casually. Emma needs a clean slate. Right then, Emma waltzed in wearing a designer yoga set that probably cost more than our highest grossing day. Oh, good you told her, she said, barely acknowledging me. Dad, I want to turn the private dining room into a juice bar. That old stuff is so dated. The same room where Grandpa hosted family dinners. Where I learned to cook. Where we held his memorial. I took a deep breath. Actually, I said, my voice calm, there's something you both should know. They glanced at me, annoyed. I wasn't part of Emma's new plan. When I invested in Golden Dynasty, I didn't just hand over money. I had my lawyer draw up formal agreements. Dad frowned. What kind of agreements? The kind that made me majority shareholder. I own 51% of Golden Dynasty. Emma's jaw dropped. You can't do that. This is a family business. Exactly, I said, grabbing my bag. And I protected it like Grandpa would've. I'll be in my office. The one with the vendor contracts and business licenses. In my name. As I walked out, I heard her screeching behind me. Daddy, do something. But there was nothing he could do. After years of being overlooked, I learned the only way to protect myself, and Grandpa's legacy, was with smart, quiet preparation. I returned to my office, surrounded by the evidence of everything I'd built. The new menus. The glowing reviews. The wall of smiling customers. A message buzzed on my phone. From Dad. We need to talk. Family doesn't treat family this way. Smiled. Yes, we definitely needed to talk about what family loyalty really means. The next morning I arrived early. Mr. Liu, our longtime prep cook, was already in the kitchen. He'd worked beside Grandpa for 20 years. He looked at me, noticing the tiredness in my eyes. Trouble with family? He asked in Mandarin. I gave a soft smile. Nothing I can't handle. Before I could respond, Emma burst through the kitchen doors, still dressed in yoga gear, with Dad trailing behind her. "This is ridiculous, Sophia," she declared, waving her phone. "I've already scheduled meetings with interior designers. We're doing a full rebrand." Mr. Liu quietly slipped into the walk-in freezer, but not before giving me a knowing glance. He'd seen this kind of drama before: Emma's grand entrances, her sweeping declarations, and the chaos that always followed. "Cancel them," I said flatly, scanning the day's delivery invoices. "As majority shareholder, all changes to Golden Dynasty require my approval." Dad stepped forward, his voice slipping into that familiar patronizing tone he used with difficult customers. "About that, I spoke with our family lawyer last night. He says those documents might not be legally binding, since it's a family business." I pulled out my phone and tapped a saved email. "You mean Uncle Mike? The one who hasn't practiced corporate law in 15 years? The same one who missed 3 tax deadlines for the restaurant?" I turned the screen toward them, revealing an email from one of the top business law firms in the city. "My lawyer disagrees." Emma's face drained of color. "You went behind our backs. To an outsider." "No," I corrected. "I protected my investment. Legally. Professionally. Something you'd understand if you'd finished even one of your business courses." That hit a nerve. Emma had dropped out of business school after 1 semester, calling it too rigid for her creative spirit. Just like she'd abandoned her yoga studio, her food blog, and her 3-month attempt at lifestyle coaching. "Mom always said you were jealous of me," she snapped, eyes welling with tears. "Just because I'm not boring and stuck up like you." "Enough," Dad cut in. "Your sister's trying to find her purpose. This could be it. Why can't you support her?" I looked around the kitchen. The sleek new appliances, the clean prep stations, the safety protocols I'd implemented. Every part of this place was a product of my sacrifice and labor. "Like you supported me," I said quietly, "when I worked here every weekend in high school while Emma was out partying. When I learned every recipe from Grandpa while she was at the mall. When I sold my home to save this place, while she posted sunset photos from Bali." Dad shifted awkwardly. "That's different. You've always been capable." "Emma needs to grow up," I interrupted, surprising even myself with my firmness. "And you need to understand, this isn't just about family anymore. This is a business." Just then, Mr. Liu reappeared from the freezer, holding a container of the secret ingredient used in our most popular dish. He paused, looking at Emma. "You know how make phoenix clay pot?" he asked in broken English. Emma blinked. "Well, no. But I have ideas. You know vendors. Health code. Staff schedule." Each question chipped away at her bravado. "I can learn," she said weakly. "I have fresh ideas." "Ideas not enough," Mr. Liu said firmly. "Need knowledge. Need respect." He turned to me. "Like Miss Sophia. Like her grandfather." Emma burst into tears and ran out of the kitchen, nearly bumping into the morning shift arriving. Dad gave me a look full of disappointment before quietly following her. I turned back to Mr. Liu, who had already begun his prep work. "Thank you," I said softly in Mandarin. He nodded. "Your grandfather always say, good food needs strong foundation. Same with business. Same with life." I watched the team settle into the rhythm of the day, the calm, focused energy of a well-run kitchen. This wasn't just about preserving a restaurant. It was about protecting a legacy, a staff that depended on me, and yes, even protecting Emma from her own recklessness. My phone buzzed. Message from Mom. "We're having a family meeting tonight. Your sister is very upset. Please be reasonable." I stared at the screen. I'd heard that line 100 times. Be reasonable. Always directed at me, never at Emma. But not this time. I typed back. "Yes, we need to talk. I'll bring the restaurant's financial records, legal documents, and my lawyer's contact info. It's time everyone understands exactly what's at stake." I looked up at Grandpa's photo on the wall. In the calm strength of his gaze, I imagined him nodding in approval. He taught me that a restaurant wasn't just about good food. It was about discipline, clear lines, and respect for the craft, for the people, and for the legacy. Emma may have had our parents' unconditional support, but I had something stronger, a real claim to what he built. And I wasn't letting it go. The same private dining room Emma wanted to turn into a juice bar was now set for a family meeting. Mom had arranged chairs around grandfather's favorite round table, his framed photo placed in the center like a silent witness. I arrived with a portfolio of documents and my laptop. While I set up a small presentation, Emma lounged in her designer outfit, scrolling on her phone. Our parents exchanged anxious glances. "Before we begin," I said, opening my laptop, "I'd like to show you something." I hit play on a video compilation I'd created. It opened with longtime customers sharing heartfelt memories of Golden Dynasty, followed by staff talking about what the restaurant meant to them. It ended with footage from last Saturday, a packed dining room full of laughter and happy families. "This is what I've protected," I said quietly. "Not just my investment, but our legacy." Mom dabbed at her eyes. "Sophia, we understand how hard you've worked, but Emma..." "No," I cut in, voice steady. "What Emma needs is to hear the truth. All of you do." I pulled out the financial reports and laid them across the table. 6 months ago, Golden Dynasty was $180,000 in debt. The health department had cited us 3 times. We were weeks from shutting down. Dad shifted uncomfortably. "I sold my condo for $400,000. Used $180,000 to clear the debts, $150,000 for renovations and equipment, and the rest went into marketing and staff training." Emma scoffed. "We know you spent money. But Daddy says..." "Your father," I said sharply, "signed these documents." I slid the legal contracts toward them. "He was so desperate for help. He didn't even read them properly. That makes me the majority shareholder." Dad's face flushed. "Now wait just a..." "No, you wait," I said firmly. "For years you favored Emma. You dismissed my efforts. But this isn't just about family anymore. This is a business." I pulled up our current financials. We're now earning $30,000 profit a month. Staff retention is at 95%. We have supplier partnerships, corporate contracts, and a waiting list for weekend reservations. Mom tried to interject again, but I held up a hand. "And here's what happens if Emma takes over." I flipped to projections based on her proposed rebrand. Costly design changes, elimination of core menu items, and potential customer loss. Within 3 months, we'd be operating at a loss. Within 6, back in debt. Emma burst into tears. "You're just trying to make me look bad. I have vision." "Vision without experience is fantasy," I replied. "Do you know our head chef is putting 2 kids through college? That Mr. Liu supports his elderly parents? That our servers depend on this place to pay rent?" Emma looked uncertain for the first time. I softened my tone. "If you're serious about learning the business, the real business, I'll teach you." The room fell quiet. "You'll start as a hostess. You'll work every position. Learn what it takes. And if you prove yourself, you can earn a real role here." Emma's eyes widened. "A hostess. But I'm family." "Exactly," I said. "And family should lead by example." Dad started to protest, but Mom spoke first. "She's right." We all turned to her. "I've watched Sophia work here since she was 15, she said quietly. "She honored your father's legacy. She glanced at Dad. "We haven't been fair to her." Emma slumped in her chair. "So I just give up my dreams?" "No," I said gently. "You work for them. Like everyone else." Closed my laptop. "The choice is yours. Learn the business or find your next adventure. But Golden Dynasty stays as it is." Silence followed. Then Dad finally spoke. "You're a lot like your grandfather," he said, voice soft. "He'd be proud." For the first time in years, I saw respect in his eyes. 2 months later, to everyone's surprise, Emma took the hostess position. She grumbled at first, but something changed after her first busy weekend. Maybe it was the customers who greeted me by name, or the way the staff worked together like a family, or the realization that running a restaurant wasn't about flashy ideas. It was about effort, patience, and care. She's still learning. She still makes mistakes, but she's trying. Last week, I caught her asking Mr. Liu to teach her how to make dumplings. As for me, I've never been more sure of my path. Golden Dynasty isn't just a restaurant. It's proof that roots, once nurtured, can grow into something lasting. Yesterday, I hung a new photo beside grandfather's. Me in my chef whites standing proudly in our kitchen. Beneath it, I placed his favorite saying in English and Chinese. Success grows from strong roots. And as I looked at it, I smiled because now I know. Those roots don't just run through family. They run through sacrifice, respect, and the courage to protect what truly matters.